Hey everyone, this is Pig for Life, and in today's Transformers review we'll be taking a look at GiGaPower Toys HQ03 Guttur, their version of a Masterpiece-scaled Snarl. So this is their first figure, even though it's called HQ03. This is GiGaPower Toys' first figure that they're releasing. So they're a very brand new company. People have been really excited about this. Once the figures went out to reviewers, I think the anticipation for this guy grew exponentially. So I'm really excited to be doing this review, and this is the retail version that just came out last week. So let's go ahead and start with packaging review. The first thing you see here on this front is this box is huge. You probably can't tell, but this is like bigger than as big as, you know, a Masterpiece Ultra Magnus box. I mean, it's really big. Just for comparison, you know, these are my hands. So it's a really nice box. They did an outstanding job. They have really nice artwork done by Spike Art. And you can see a rendition of their Snarl in alt mode as well as in robot mode with his accessories. You can see it says Gigasaurs. That's what they're calling their Dinobot homages, and Master Robots. So let's go ahead and take a look at the top. They have some like nice robotic detail here. This looks like maybe the crotch piece or something like that. So just the top there. On the side you get a little bit of a bio. I'm not going to read that to you, but you can do that. You can see it's made in China. On the other side you get some more of the same images that we saw on the front. On the back you get a lot of great promo shots. So you get the robot mode, dino mode. You can see a bunch of accessories, two different heads that he gets, and face sculpts. Then he has all these flame accessories, which are exclusive to this version, which is the metallic initial release. They are coming with a chrome version later, but this will be in limited quantity, so you may want to consider that when you pick them up. And they also show the additional accessories here, and there's a lot going on in this box. So there's a gun, there's a sword, there is a shoulder cannon, there are translucent pieces for the neck and head to mimic the toy look, and then there's also a little translucent piece here which acts as kind of a holster for the sword in robot mode. Alright, and I think that's it. The bottom I think is just mostly warnings and cautions, everything like that. It just says it's a collector's toy, and just more information about all that. Alright, let's actually get out of the box and you can see what else comes in this amazing packaging. So out of the box you're treated with this big styrofoam, molded styrofoam that is, you know, very old, you know, 80s, 90s toys packaging. You don't really see that much styrofoam packaging anymore, but it actually comes sealed like this, and you have tape going all around here, so you just be careful when you remove this cardboard piece. And inside there, you also will get the instructions, which I'll show off in a little bit. But you get a really good look at everything else that is included in this. Here you see the shoulder cannon, you see these are the translucent pieces that I was talking about, the sword, the head, the blaster, and you get a Guttur in alt mode. And one other thing that I'm just going to show you, sort of, is that when you go to the back, in this cavity here, you get all these exclusive soft plastic flame pieces and accessories, which I'll go over in detail later, but they come all wrapped in this kind of styrofoam-ish I don't know, material, and it actually gets taped securely in this cavity. So don't forget to look in the back if you're thinking you caught everything. There's definitely stuff on the back here. All right. But coming back around to the front, I did want to mention that in addition to that cardboard piece, you also need to cut out this little plastic tray that is also taped in separately. Sorry for that squeaky styrofoam noise. Before you remove that, there's, in addition to cutting that tape away, there's also a little wire that is holding the plastic tray in place, wrapped around the leg. So you just have to undo this twist tie, and then you can finally get him open. And I'm not going to show you guys how to get all this out. I'm just going to cut real quick, and we can go right into the review. So this is all the things that you're getting out of packaging. In addition to Guttur, you have the limited flame accessories for his feet, his sword, his blaster. He also has the translucent pieces for his neck, his head, and for the sword in robot mode, you get the alternate head and face. And I believe the face is a little bit darker. We'll go into it a little bit later. But he basically has red details and a more of a grimace than a straight face that the stock one has. And then you get the blasters and the shoulder cannon. You also get the instructions, which have a really nice piece of artwork there. Some line art, some more bio and product images, which I think are the same ones on the box. Some more lineup in alt mode, and then instructions from alt to robot mode, and lastly how to install the batteries in the LED accessories for the sword and for the blaster. I don't see anywhere on these instructions or on the box that actually mention what size battery you need, but you need AG4, and there's a ton of different equivalents depending on where you live. Just Google AG4 and you'll see there's probably like 20 different equivalents. Like 377 is the one that I ended up getting. But yeah, it's pretty easy to come by. You should be able to pick one up at the dollar store or something like that. The only thing that you don't really get as far as massive amounts of accessories, which is kind of standard nowadays with third-party companies, is the bio card, which I don't really care about that much. Some people may, but I don't miss it at all. All right, let's get all this out of the way, and we'll start going into alt mode review. So bringing Guttur in, scooch this up just a tiny bit. And yeah, you can see just how massive this guy is. And we'll do a quick 360. He's definitely very wide. But he does a really, really great job of capturing that look of Snarl. I think this alt mode really sells it for me. He looks really phenomenal. One thing I'll mention is that this plastic is actually painted. Even the gray pieces you may think is just molded in gray. It's actually painted, and it makes a heck of a difference because most collectors know that you typically get swirls in gray plastic. So they did not want to have that, and so they painted every inch of this figure, and it's a really phenomenal paint job. There are some minor things like here. There's a kind of a run here, but overall, this is just one phenomenal paint job. I'm really happy with it. Just to give you some size comparisons, let's go ahead and bring in MP10 in alt mode. So really quite big compared to a semi. The comparisons that most people will want to see with Grimlock. Sorry about him not being in screen. Alright, so quite big. They look pretty good together in alt mode. And because a lot of people are probably going to ask, I'm going to go ahead and bring in one of the Fans Toys Dinobots. And this is Scoria, their version of Slag. And this also looks quite good in terms of overall scale. Guttur is definitely way bigger overall, and you'll see that mostly in robot mode. But in terms of alt mode, if you're going to keep them in Dinobot mode, they actually don't look that bad together. This is painted gold, so maybe if you wait for the gold chrome, it may match this a little bit better. But overall, it looks phenomenal. Alright, so let's go into some articulation. He does have a slight left and right on the head. Not a whole lot. He doesn't have any up and down. He does open his mouth. And he has two individual blasters that are kind of double barrel. Very cool. People will probably ask, the pre-production models that some people got, there were sprue marks on the front. There are no sprue marks here, or at least they cleaned it up really well here. So great job, GiGaPower, on that. He does have, and I believe these may be bouldering. I honestly can't see that far in, but there's a great range of motion. You can go 360 on them. He has really tightly ratcheted, I guess, dino elbows. His toes, which are die-cast, are articulated. He has an ankle pivot. And then I believe he has some forward and back on the, there we go, yeah. So he has some forward and back on the ankle as well. Going around to the back, he's soft ratchets on the arms. There's a lot of play, and that's going to be one of my biggest complaints about this guy. There's just a lot of play between the ratchets, and I wish they were a little bit tighter. This is just friction, and it's really tight. I really like that, but this is just way too much play here, which really annoys me. There is kind of a thigh swivel here, which is really bicep swivel in robot mode. He does have friction joints here at the knee. Again, ankle pivots, and then the toes, which are really tight on mine, tilt forward and back as well. The only loose part I have on my alt mode, Dinobot mode, is this front right foot. This one's loose. I'm going to see if I can tighten that up, but I didn't want to modify the figure before showing to you guys. His tail coming around back. Oh, and you'll see there's probably going to be styrofoam falling off of this guy throughout the entire review. That's the one downside with styrofoam. He does have a little bit of wiggle on his tail here. That's the only one section. Not a lot to go off of there. And that's really it. As far as die-cast goes, again, the toes are, I think the only other pieces in alt mode that you'll see are these plates here. And this entire, I think this entire section here, or maybe it might just be the plates themselves. I think those, yeah, this is just plastic. But yeah, he does have some ports right here. So if you want to make use of the shoulder cannon and just rotate this out, you can use that peg. Put that in here. Same thing with the cannon. You can flip this out. So you can see my hind legs are kind of flopping around a lot. It's kind of a weird, so you're either back here like this or you're up here like this, and there's not really a good in between. That's so as far as posability, it's kind of annoying for alt mode to get his hind legs in a position that makes sense. And again, if it was a little bit tighter, it'd be fine. But there's way too much play in the hind legs that make it a little bit difficult. All right, what else can I show off? Oh, let's go ahead and show off the translucent pieces. So again, these are pieces that are supposed to mimic the toy. They just slide on the neck here. And then this piece just sits on top of the head. I heard that they were gonna improve this and actually have it snap on, but it's actually a very loose fit. The neck is great. It doesn't snap on, but it's really tight and secure. This is too loose, so I'm really disappointed that the extra time that they had for this figure. They said they were going to improve this from the pre-production reviews, and they didn't. So that's actually kind of disappointing. But it's a minor thing. I'm actually not going to use that. But for those of you who are really diehard into the toy, you might be kind of peeved about that. Alright, and the last thing that I'll go over in terms of alt mode are these pieces. So these are the front legs, and these bigger ones are the back legs. And they're nice soft rubber, and they're really nice. The detail on this is nice and orange, and then it gets a little bit lighter orange as it gets thinner up here. And that's really nice. And they have nice molded area for the feet that has the little tabs that fit into the grooves on the foot, and they're very easy to do. Just I start with so again, these really high ones go in the back. I just kind of slide in the front toe first because you need to get that kind of in, and then just push down on the heel. Same thing with the front. Get the toe in and then kind of push down on the heel, and you'll feel it snap in. I'm not going to do all four, but you get the idea. Alright, so yeah, that's it for alt mode review. I really do like it. I think, again, that they did a really great job. I love this kind of, one of the things they changed was the steepness of this slope here on the rear end, and I think it really did help. It makes it look a lot better. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this guy transformed into robot mode. And the transformation is pretty easy. If you have a Grimlock, Masterpiece Grimlock, you're going to have no problem transforming this guy. Alright, so the first thing we'll do is actually just get rid of these legs. Just get them out of the way. And you just rotate them up and kind of in. Just get it rotated and get it situated. It doesn't tap in or anything like that, but it does need to be in a very specific orientation. It has to be in a specific ratchet set for the knee and for the toe. Alright, and that's very secure, so you don't need to worry about it like coming off. Alright, the next thing we'll do is actually deal with the front half. And you basically need to split the entirety of the figure. You might be able to do it here. I think the easiest way, and don't do it with these die-cast pieces here. You definitely don't want to break the plastic that's holding it in place. I think the easiest way to do it is actually come under here and pull this down. Pull these two pieces down, these panels that flip open, and then you can actually pull out on these. One thing that you can do is deal with the shoulders first to get. I think the instructions actually say rotate the shoulders first. I don't do that until later, but as long as you spread the legs, you shouldn't have a problem. And just be careful. There's pegs all the way through. You don't want to stress any plastic. Just get it all the way through to the head. There we go. And then you're going to want to rotate the legs down, outward like that. As you're doing that, just get this out of the way, you can see that the leg works very similarly. So again, just like Grimlock's legs kind of work, it rotates around, and this piece flips in, and there's a tab here with a corresponding slot in here, which maybe there, this slot here. You're going to want to rotate that in, and it kind of tabs into place kind of loosely. Then you want to rotate this up, and you want to get this arm down so that this tabs into place here. This tab goes into that place there. The head, I wish had something to kind of keep it in place. It just kind of wobbles, but that's how it goes. You can flip out the robot mode toes here just by pushing forward, and this is where it gets kind of cool. So this piece here rotates in like so, and then it has a small panel that you access. There's a little tab here that makes it easy. Grab that, and there's a little tab in here as well, and you rotate this little plastic piece out, and what it does is basically secures the toe and this ankle piece, inner ankle, together. So this actually goes straight into there. You close that back up, and now this kind of functions as one piece. And that's really cool because it gives him toe tilt and partial ankle tilt, which I'll show off a little bit later. But I thought this was really nice engineering. Very cool. If you want to flip up the skirt, the side skirt, just so you can see what you're doing, you're going to want to straighten out the leg almost to the side, rotate it 180 degrees, and then rotate it back down. And again, I think that's basically what MP Grimlock did as well. So again, once you have this untabbed, rotate it down, start bending this piece in, rotate this through, tab it into place there, fold this up, tab this in again, flip up the toe, rotate the heel piece, open this little section here, pull out that black arm piece, tab that in, close it up, then flip up this side skirt, give you access to rotating the hips, close that down, and so you're done with the lower body. Let's see, I'm going to scoot this up a bit so you can see what I'm doing up here. From here you're going to want to rotate 180 degrees at the waist. Alright, so now I'm going to deal with the shoulders that they told you to deal with earlier, just because I think it's kind of cool to do one half and then the other half of the figure. What you're going to do is actually pull out on the shoulders, and this inner piece pulls out. And what it says in instructions is to rotate it 30 degrees upwards, or I guess from this side counterclockwise and this way clockwise. It's way more than 30 degrees. I mean, they just don't know their math. It's way more than 90 degrees. It's probably supposed to be like 130 degrees. But anyway, there is a little... You'll be able to see, because once you get in there, you see a little tab that and a slot that allows you to slide that back in. And that gives you the shoulders that are rotated up. Otherwise it looks kind of funny. So if you didn't rotate it, you'll know it's wrong because the proportions look kind of weird. See, his arms will be a lot lower, which doesn't look right. Alright. Then you're going to extend the arms. And then the forearms are really cool. You're going to open this up. Open up the back panel. So you open up the front and back of the forearm. You're going to want to rotate the ankle up and then rotate the toe up. And you're going to want to rotate the fist down while, going the other way. You're going to want to rotate the Dino mode feet down and in while rotating the fist out the top. This is on one singular joint. And then there's a tab and a slot on the bottom here that tabs in, and then a tab and a slot here. I'm going to keep that open just for a second because I want to show you something that's actually kind of weird. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, rotate the ankle up and then the toe. And you're going to want to rotate the fist forward and out, while simultaneously rotating the Dino mode foot in. Alright, the one thing I wanted to show you is that, I don't know if this is just mine, but the tab on the right hand is a lot shorter than the tab on the left hand. So this one tabs in very securely. This one tabs in securely, but it leaves a bit of a gap, which makes it easier to pull it out when I transform again. But it's just weird that one is longer than the other. I'll probably just file that one down to make them even. Alright, so we're almost done. We're coming around to the back. We're going to split the tail in half. It's just pegged together. Then we're going to pull up on the spine. And it's on this hinge here that you're going to want to rotate all the way back and down. You may want to keep it out just a little bit if you want to do some rotation. Otherwise, if you put it all the way down as close as possible, it's going to almost rest on the butt, and that's going to limit your waist articulation. And last but not least, the head reveal. You just pull down on the chest panel here, and then rotate up the head. And then just slot here and a tab there. You just rotate that up. And there we have Guttur in robot mode. Sorry for the quick break. I wanted to actually bring up the camera because this guy is so massively tall in robot mode. So let's do a quick 360. You can see he's just really gorgeous. He does have kind of a back lean, and again, that's because the ratchets have a lot of play in them, even these hips here. You're either stuck kind of leaning back because he is kind of back heavy, especially with all these die-cast plates, or you can go one ratchet forward and have him look a little bit down. And I actually like this better also because he's huge. He's probably going to be looking down on most figures. Coming around to the back here. I love that they went out of the way to paint gold on the inside of here. That's one of the things that we've seen on Vance Toys Sever that is not the case. It's just black on the inside. And so I love that they did that. One of the minor complaints on the back is the fact that you can see the Dino mode head and it doesn't stay in place, which is upsetting, but not too bad. And then the other thing is that you have this piece here on the lower half of the alt mode that kind of sticks out. It would have been nice if they kind of got it to sit in a little bit better and a little bit more flush. But again, another minor complaint. for you guys that love the toy look, having the legs on the outside make his legs look really beefy, and his thighs are still really quite sturdy. So I love this guy and his overall look in robot mode. Really quick, let's do some comparisons. MP10, just because that's obligatory. So this really goes with the larger look kind of scale that you sometimes see in a cartoon, where the Dinobots are a good deal taller than Optimus. Get that out of the way. Some people wanted to see him with Ultra Magnus, another tall MP, and they're about head to head. Magnus is a little bit taller, even to the top of the head. I know it doesn't look that way on camera, but he definitely is taller. It's just the angle at which they're positioned. Magnus is a slightly bit taller. Alright, again, just so you can see what he looks like next to Fans Toys Scoria. I guess just to be fair, just to open his legs up just a little bit. And you can see the robot mode looks way different in terms of scale than the alt modes did. The alt modes actually look pretty good together, but in robot mode, they definitely don't feel like they're from the same scale. He's a good deal smaller. His proportions are not nearly as bulky. I mean, he's just he looks very much Hulkish. And to compare it even further to other Dinobots, the now woefully out of scale Masterpiece Grimlock. If you want to see him with the Scoria boots on, I aim to please, so here you go. So in terms of height, still smaller. In terms of overall bulkiness, way smaller. Oops, sorry about that. But in terms of his robot mode, I think he looks phenomenal. The only complaint I have is his chest is a little bit too big for me. He kind of has a Bruce Timm look to it, where his chest is just completely massive, sticks out. I wish it was a little bit thinner, or less from the back, a little bit narrower. But it's obviously what they're going for. They want somebody that's really big and hulking. So I do not mind that at all. So let's go into articulation very quickly. He still has those soft shoulder ratchets that we saw in alt mode. He has that bicep swivel. He has nice elbow bend. Gives you 90-degree elbows. He does have a wrist swivel. His hands are pretty nice. So he has a ball jointed thumb. He has individually articulated fingers. They're not ball jointed in the palm. They're just pinned. So they have two pieces. Some of my fingers are loose. I know the pre-production ones came out and they were loose too. They said they were fixing that. Again, it doesn't look like they fixed it, which is again disappointing. See, so my pinky and my forefinger are pretty loose. It does have a slot on the inside here for his weapons, which we'll show off later. He does have that waist swivel that goes 360. Again, just being mindful of this piece. Goes 360. We did that for transformation. He also has skirts that are nice and tightly pinned. If you want to get more range of motion, just flip those up out of the way. Ratchets here, way too much play again. I just don't understand why there's so much play between them, even if they're heavy. This just doesn't seem right. I guess kind of frustrating. Going back, same thing. It's enough to hold it up, but barely. Going out to the side. See, this has less play, and it's a little bit tighter, so I like those ratchets a lot. Close that up. He does have a thigh swivel, which we saw we needed for transformation. He does have a nice knee bend. The Dino Mode head does get in the way. You can actually bend this in like this to get more of a knee bend, you can get pretty far actually. So you can get that far if you get the Dinobot out of the way, Dinobot head out of the way. Alright, and then as we saw before, that really cool engineering that they have here. So he kind of has ankle tilts, pseudo ankle tilts that allow him to get a wider stance. He does have this moving toe piece. Oops, that part came off. He does have this moving toe piece that goes up and down a bit, and then as you saw for transformation, this toe piece does rotate down a bit. Alright, so yeah, that's it for articulation. Oh, I didn't go over the head. So his head is on a ball joint. You get basically no downward movement. He looks straight when you're going down. He gets very tiny up. Very little bobble. You can do the Exorcist. And if you want to replace... Here, let me go ahead and bring in the other head just so you can see really quickly. Let's go ahead and zoom in and do a face sculpt review. So I like the face sculpt a lot, especially with these blue eyes. The metallic blue that they use and the silver really make the eyes pop. I really, really like that. I prefer it over the red one you see here, which I guess if you want an angrier Dinobot, it might work for you. I just don't really like the molded lips here and kind of the under the eye wrinkles. I don't really like that much. In the previous reviews that people did, they said that you can actually split apart the head and then you can use the red eyes with this face. I've tried really hard to separate these and I just have not had luck. I used my handy dandy spudger and I just tried for a good 10 minutes to get one of these heads open and I couldn't do it. I'm not sure if that's something that changed in the final production model or what, or maybe I'm just really a weakling, but I couldn't get it done. It doesn't matter to me because I'm going to keep this one on. If you want to swap them, you just pop it off the ball joint and then pop it back on. Very easy. Alright. But yeah, the face sculpt looks really good for this one. I really like the look of it. Oh, and just to show you that it is a slightly darker silver here on this one as well. One quick thing I almost forgot to mention was that, and it's kind of easy to miss, is that these chest panels actually open. I'll come in a bit closer, and you can see there's a nice painted detail in here. It shows some wiring. I guess these are blasters. I'm not really sure why they did this. I guess it's a nice extra feature, and it's a basic one that they could add simply, but I mean, it's kind of cool, but completely unnecessary to me. So for robot mode, you have a sword, again using the AG4 batteries, very easy to put them in. You take out these two Phillips heads, pull off this half, what will be the top half. I'm not going to show it because mine's actually a really tight fit. But you need two AG4s and you need the flat, which I believe is the positive side, to be facing the tip of the sword. And you're going to put two of them in, and they go right about here. I'm not going to show that off. I usually do, but I just don't want to take the time to do that right now. But you press the button and it has a nice glow to it. It doesn't go all the way to the tip, which is unfortunate, but it kind of makes sense. If you have a flame sword, it would be much brighter down here. If you want to make use of these flame pieces, just split them in half. Because the blade is symmetrical, it doesn't really matter how you put it on. Just go ahead and put the two halves together. And I really like this, the plastic they used. Again, the soft plastic is way better than the one we got with Grimlock, the reissued Grimlock from last year, I think. And then using that slot, I think it looks like it's a bit off center here, the peg here. I think it should go towards the back. It should be closer to the back. And it's so tight that it goes on and can stay on without actually using the fingers, which is nice. I can't actually get the thumb to wrap around it really. without fear of damaging it or popping off. But yeah, he looks really, really nice there. Oh, I didn't show off the shoulders. The shoulders go up. Well, articulation fail. Alright, let's see what else. The gun, similarly, you're going to use those AG4 batteries. This is a little bit more complicated, so there's a couple things you're going to need to do. You're going to have to take off these two screws. This top half will come off, and then you're going to have to take off this screw here afterwards, and then this piece will, these two halves will come off, and then you just put the batteries on the front part of the gun with the positive side, flat side, I think the flat side is positive, going towards the front of the gun. And then you just use this switch. Really nice glow. And if you don't like that, you can actually take that off. They're pegged in. This translucent red piece is pegged in. It has little slots on this side and this side with corresponding pegs on the barrel, tip of the barrel, and you can actually get rid of that. You just be careful. You just need to pull it off the LED. And if you want to make use of this plastic piece, and this looks really good. This lights up the entirety of the blast effect. Again, using the slot. Peg that nicely in. Close that up. And he is weaponed out. Very, very cool. Alright. I think the only other thing I'm going to show for robot mode is, again, this translucent piece, which basically you take the sword out and you just clip it around like that, and it holds it. And what you do is you come back here and you can peg it in to this piece up here. I don't think you can actually do it with this piece on. Can't really see what's going on here. Alright, there we go. Oh, I actually am missing something. Where did I put his shoulder cannon? Oh, here it is. So the shoulder cannon has this little piece here that folds out. You're going to want to fold it like this, and using that same or other side port, you're going to want to kind of just maneuver this in. It's kind of hard to get to, but yeah, you do like that. It does have a little bit of articulation. So pretty cool. Take these off. The one last piece of articulation that I didn't show, since I'm failing to do articulation this time, is these tail pieces. You can have them come back like this to fill in this gap, and I kind of like that look overall. It makes them a little bit less wide. Alternatively, you can do it like this and then make use of the tail articulation and kind of fan it out like that, which also looks really cool. Alright, so with that, we're going to go ahead and get him transformed from robot to alt mode. Alright, so going quickly back into alt mode, the first thing we're going to do is open up the chest. Just unpeg this piece here, rotate it in, making sure you get this kind of aligned correctly so that you can slot this back in here. One thing I didn't talk about is they do have a little molded piece here for an Autobot logo if you want to do that. I like that. I'm going to do that once I finish this review on mine. Alright, the second thing we're going to do is swing this all the way up and forward. There is a little tab here that kind of goes around and into this piece, in the translucent piece in the front. Fold the tail back, and you're going to tab the two halves together. Now we're going to deal with the hands. Open up the front and back as we did before. I'm going to ball these into a fist as much as possible. And you don't want to actually rest this thumb down like this, which is typically how you do it because it's just too wide. Just go ahead and sit it up like this. That should be sufficient. And then you're going to push on the dyno mode feet to get that all rotated around. Again, using this extra long tab in there, close up the back. You can get the toe and foot straightened out. Straighten out the arm and then collapse it. And the same thing for the other side. This one, again, since it's a smaller tab, it sits really flush, so I usually need a tool to just get in there and open that up. Again, rotate the fist up to the top, close these fists up, and then push the dyno mode feet out. Tap this closed, tap that closed, straighten everything out, collapse the legs. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and deal with the shoulders now. Pull that out, and you're going to want to rotate it clockwise here. I really want to show you, get a better look at it. So this is what the slot looks like. And you can see there's another one here. Again, way more than 30 degrees, so don't listen to the instructions. Just get it lined up and then push that in. Alright. Same thing on this side. The only reason to kind of do this later is because it kind of does get in the way of this part tabbing in, the legs tabbing in. So maybe it's better to do it later, like the instructions. But I'm stubborn in my ways. Alright, dealing with the legs, go ahead again, flip these side panels out. You don't have to, it just makes it easier and you don't want to mess up any plastic. Rotate the legs out, rotate them 180, rotate them down. Alright, so dealing with the bottom, first thing we'll do is just flip in the toes, just because that's easy. Then we want to pull out this black piece, open up the panel, flip that black piece in, close it up. Then we're going to rotate this straight out like so. Untab the dyno mode head, straighten that out. Untab this piece that was tapped in here. You can just pull here and that will kind of straighten everything out. And once you have the legs perfectly straight, just rotate this all the way in. Sorry, this figure is really big, so it does make it a little bit difficult to transform on screen. And there is a long tab here, which I'll show you a little bit later, that tabs into the top there. So same thing for the other side. We'll go ahead and open this black panel here, rotate this piece in, close up the panel, straighten this out. One thing on mine that I noticed was they had a little bit of paint come off from probably the inside here. Not a big deal, you're not going to see it. Come straighten this out, untab this, and then once again you're going to want to rotate this all the way down and in. Oh, I said I was going to show you this tab. So this tab here is going to go into that slot there. But aside from that, it's just getting the two halves pegged in together. Closing that up. Rotate the legs down. Rotate these arms away from the side and down. Just make sure everything's kind of pegged together. Nice and tight. And there we go. We have Guttur back in dyno mode, which looks really amazing. Oh, sorry, I should rotate this down a bit. So, final thoughts. I really like this guy. He's honestly, this is kind of the scale I do think is ideal for a masterpiece scale Dinobot. Bigger than as big as he is compared to MP10. I think that's really good. They should be really big. They're the brutes of the Autobots. So and to be able to go up against a combiner like Devastator, they really do need to be that big. And just overall quality for first figure out, this is phenomenal. It's just unbelievably good for a first figure out. And even as just in general a third-party figure that's come out, it's really raised the bar in a lot of respects. The fact that this is still kind of like $200-ish and has full paint all over it is really great. The only other thing that I'm going to complain about, as I said before, is really the looseness in the ratchets here and the amount of play in the shoulders as well as in the hips themselves. But aside from that, this guy is just of tremendous value with all the accessories you get, the size that you get, the overall quality, the paint applications. I really do like this guy a whole lot. Alright, so I don't typically recommend, do a straight up recommendation on picking up a figure, but it's hard not to recommend this figure. If you're thinking about getting a Masterpiece scale Dinobot, set of Dinobots, definitely consider them. Though they definitely will give fans toys a run for their money, and it's probably going to come down to overall aesthetic and size. It's going to really determine which one. I'm honestly probably stuck with both camps. I'm probably going to get both now. Maybe one to keep in robot mode and one to keep in Dino mode. So if you have any questions or comments, or you think I left something out, leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. If you like what I'm doing and want to keep up to date with all my reviews and videos, just go ahead and click the subscribe button floating around here. And as always, if you want to add this guy to your collection, you can go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. They are the sponsor of this video, and they were the ones that got this to me very quickly so that I could do a review for you all. Alright, I think that's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.